Hi, and welcome back to another stained canvas Halloween edition. Today I am going to be making a plaster pumpkin for just this little, centerpiecey Halloween type of thing I'd like to do. So the first things you're going to need are a flyer or newspaper, some plaster cloth, which you can grab at a Michael's store or any crafting kind of store, some rubber bands, a bucket of water, and whatever color acrylic paint you'd like. So the first step I did was I just used my Canadian Tire flyer that I just got, and I'm just going to start to crumble up the newspaper, but I don't want to crumble it up very tightly. I want it to be very loose, just in a roundish shape, like a pumpkin-y shape. And I'm going to do one page at a time so that I can keep it super loose, because I'm going to be using the elastic bands to kind of make the bumpy grooves of a pumpkin. So now that my ball is nice and loose, also you can make really small ones. I mean, you could go a little bit bigger. They have all kinds of sizes, rubber bands. So all I'm going to do is just take my rubber band, go over the the newspaper ball I just made, and try and do it twice. I have the elastic break on me right here, but if you have a couple extra elastics, I mean, that would be a good idea, because sometimes it can get kind of difficult to do. But yeah, so I'm just going to rubber band it and twist the rubber band so that it's a bit tighter. And then I'm just going to like kind of press with my fingers very gently to indent it. So you'll see me here getting the rubber band perfectly where I want it to go, making sure all the paper is tucked in, and then I'm going to press gently. I don't want to like completely smoosh it. And then I'm going to continue that right across the other way. So I've kind of made like a plus sign with my elastics. And then I'm going to pick one of the sides that's kind of like, if there's a more bulbousy edge, that's where I'm going to choose to put the third elastic. Just so that, there is going to be a smaller bump. But I mean, when pumpkins grow, they don't all grow perfectly anyway. So I'm just going to finish this up in the video here. And now once that's finished, we take our plaster cloth, and like I said, you can get this at a Michael's, any kind of craft store, where they do like miniatures, landscapes, and things like that. Like you can, make small volcanoes and small mountains and things like that with these plaster cloths. And that's kind of where I got this from a Michael's. And all you're going to do is put it in, manageable strips, and then you're going to dunk it, but you're not going to leave it in there. So you quickly dunk, and then you press off the excess water. It's very important. You don't want it too mushy. And you don't want to like squeeze it so much that you've squeezed off the plaster. So now all I take is, like, I open it up because I've smushed it. So I open it up, and I'm going to put it on each individual pumpkin section first. So I want to be sure that each rounded section part is covered up. And I'm just going to continue that and keep going all around till like all my sections, are like all my 6 parts are covered. And then I'm going to trim some of the plaster cloth and just fill in the little bitty holes. You can pause the video here if you'd like. I'm just going to speed through. And I'm making sure that my cloth goes down into the cracks, so I'm just keep pressing down in the cracks. And here I am cutting up the last piece, and I'm just stuffing it into like the little peekaboo holes that my other cloths missed. Now to make the stem, I just took a small piece of paper and wrapped the wet plaster cloth in it and made sure I left a lot of the plaster cloth on the bottom so that would stick to itself. And then I just kind of wrapped the plaster cloth around the piece of paper and made sure that it stuck up the way I wanted it to. It takes a little bit of fiddling with, but you know, once you have it where you want it, it stays quite nicely. You'll see me in 1 second here. I actually give a little twist to my piece of paper and plaster cloth because I feel like it's more of a stemmy when it has that twist and that, you know, wrinkly kind of bit to it. It's just like a little thing that I wanted to add to my specific pumpkin. And you can remember also, like, pumpkin stems are not straight up, they are somewhat curved. So if you want to keep that in mind when you're making your stem. And you can make it a longer stem, shorter stem. It's all up to you on this point. Now I'm going to let that dry for several hours. And once it's dry, I'm going to just take some buff titanium. What you could also do is do like a beige color and some burnt umber, which is like the dark brown color. And I also later on in this painting part, I'm going to take some white to give it highlights because, you know, a pumpkin is not just one solid color. They do have lots of variation in the color. And because the pumpkin is dry, you don't want to like super soak it because it's, you know, it's the same stuff that they put on your cast on your arm. So all you want to do is just coat it as much as you can, but not have it super drippy. And I'm just going to go through over the whole thing with the buff titanium. Again, you can use any kind of like sandy color, beige color, off-white kind of color that you want. And also, you know, you can make this pumpkin blue, pink. It doesn't have to be this color. I actually made this kind of pumpkin in the 80s and I did a, you know, bright fluorescent pink pumpkin. So this is not one of those projects that I invented, mind you. I grew up in the 80s, so this is just, you know, throwback to my growing up, just with more modern colors. And then here I am adding the white to the outmost parts of the pumpkin, that because in my mind that would be where the light would hit, right? So it would be a lighter kind of color and it would give more dimension on that area there. So once this part's all done, you just let her dry and that's it. You can put it on your centerpiece for your display. I've added mine to a bunch of pumpkins for a little photo shoot type of thing, and I hope you like it. Thanks for watching.